I'm Gail Davis from the Centre for Cognitive Ageing and Cognitive Epidemiology at the University of Edinburgh.
I'm Ian Deary, also from the Centre.
Key findings of this paper are 4 genetic regions which we found which we've identified to be associated with people's general cognitive ability, which is their general thinking skills. This is the first time that this kind of study has identified such regions to be associated with people's thinking skills. The 4 regions that have been identified in this paper have been previously linked to Alzheimer's disease, neuropsychiatric states, and brain development.
I think what we want to stress in this paper is that the signals we found are very small. We've described them as the first lights on a distant shore, so we think that as samples get even bigger there will be more of these. But it's exciting to have found the first set of genes significantly related to general cognitive function. The paper also shows in 2 of the biggest cohorts that we looked at that the genetic contribution to people's differences in general cognitive skill in older age is just under 30%.
This study was a collaboration as part of the CHARGE consortium, a large genetic consortium which brought together 31 different cohorts from across 3 different continents, which totalled around about 54,000 individuals, all with detailed genetic and cognitive information.
For each of the people in the 31 studies, we were able to construct a score on something that we called general cognitive function. To obtain this, we had to have samples where each person had taken at least 3 very different types of cognitive function tests, different types of mental skill. And the reason that we formed a general cognitive function score is that this is very important with regard to everyday activity when people get older. In other words, it's an important health-related skill.
Through the genetic findings from the study, we'll be able to identify mechanisms by which biochemical pathways influence the differences we see in people's general cognitive function.
So in a study like this, it's quite common to ask whether it's genetic, does that mean it's destiny? We would emphasise that that isn't the case because genes point to mechanisms. And with mechanisms you can find out, and others can use these ideas to find out where there might be possible intervention. So genes point to brain mechanisms that might be a point for future interventions in the hands of others. So this study for us seemed like a landmark in the study of the genetics and environment of cognitive function differences in older age, but in fact it's just the beginning. We found a few significant signals at this stage, but we need much larger studies. So the genetic studies of other things like height and lung function tell us that you need huge numbers in order to find the many genes that are going to be involved in people's differences in these types of functions. Also, there are genetic and epigenetic types of differences that we still haven't looked at. So it's bigger studies and different types of studies, and so on we go.